2020 budget from December 31st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. Buhari, through his Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had through a letter to the National Assembly on Tuesday requested the extension to enable the executive implement the capital aspect of the budget. The president had cited the COVID-19 pandemic, which prevented the ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs of government, to carry out implementation of capital aspects of the budget as reason for the extension. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, after the approval, assured Nigerians that the development did not alter the January to December budget cycle. The House of Representatives has asked the National Communications Commission, NCC, to extend the 31st December deadline issued to SIM card owners to submit their national identification numbers, NIN, to their network providers to prevent blocking. The motion was moved on Wednesday during plenary by the House Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu. Adopting the motion, the House resolved that the exercise should end on January 28th, 2021, as against December 30th, 2020. According to the lawmaker, 2 weeks is too short for 200 million Nigerians to conclude the process. The federal government on Tuesday issued an ultimatum to all telecommunications operators in the country to block all subscriber identification modules without NIN. It also ordered that the network operators to ask all their subscribers to provide valid NIN to update their records and suspend SIM registration. And here in Edo State, some workers of Edo City Transport Service on Wednesday embarked on another round of protest, insisting that the managing director of the company, Eduyi Agbolawo, must resign. The second protest came the day Edo State government asked the company to be shut down for a meeting with the management, workers, union and the government. Our correspondent reports that the workers came with a different set of demands outside the earlier complaint of delaying the payment of their November salary, which has been paid to them on Monday. Chinedu Ekeja has more.
On Monday, the December 14th, 2020, workers of Edo City Transport Service, ECTS, the state-owned transport company, Dawn Tools, to protest a 2-week delay in the payment of their November salary.
We are working like elephants, but we eat like ants. They are owing us November salary. That's the only one they are owing us for now.
And November salary until they do Christmas, over 10 years ago.
The salary was paid that Monday, even as the MD clarified that the delay was occasioned by challenges encountered in the accounting department of the company. But 2 days after, the workers are out again, insisting the MD must resign after leveling some allegations against her.
Eduge must go. This December 31st, no addition.
Okoyo Onome, I'm a bus officer. We are here to channel our grievances to the state governor. We are suffering in Edo City Transport Service. I, in particular, my baby was sick and I had money in the cooperative account. I'm supposed to withdraw my money, compulsory savings. But Eduge, for the past 4 years, she withheld that money. She said any staff that wants into her cooperative money should resign before she would pay that cooperative money. Because I don't want to lose my job, I have to let go.
Part of their grounds now is that they have remained a contract staff for many years.
Our MD is maltreating us without limits. She takes ECTS as her whole personal business. She stepped down all workers on her own without wearing nothing to show. We come here for Obaseki to come and rescue us and take over Edo City by itself and pay us our salary and make us the staff, no more contract staff.
But the managing director, Mrs. Eduyi Agbolawo, is surprised that some of the workers embarked on another round of protest on a day the state government has fixed a meeting with the management and leadership of the workers' union to address some of the pending issues.
I'm not a member of their cooperative. They have an executive team that handles their cooperative, so I cannot obviously be dictating what's happening in their cooperative. So I have no comment concerning that. But we already have a meeting today with the SSG, and this is not an issue before the SSG. So it just shows that these are not really the issues for the protest. There are laid down procedures for engaging management. It's when you fail to get what you want from management and you still believe you ought to have it. That's when you can take it up to government, not even in a protest, because the organization is owned by government.
She also denied some of the allegations, insisting that the protest is a blackmail by some senior staff of the company who are facing disciplinary action.
I've never heard where you call for the removal of an MD because 1 month's salary was delayed by 1 week. The call for the removal of the MD is as a result of the fact that the MD has insisted that they cannot run a parallel transport company within the organization, and that the people involved must face disciplinary action. Those are the people that are protesting. These are all laid down in their conditions of service.
On the issue of staffing, Mrs. Abolao clarified that as a government-owned transport company, she has no power to make anybody permanent staff except the government gives an approval. She was, however, hopeful that a meeting with the government yesterday will resolve the issue of staffing. Meanwhile, the workers were divided as some members of the executive union refused to join the protest. Passengers were seen checking in and out of various ECTS terminals at Ring Road with disappointment. Chinedu Ekeja, KUFM News.
And now talking politics in Edo State, Edo North Caucus of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has held a strategic meeting at the Jatu country home of the state deputy governor, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shuaibu, with a resolution to kickstart the biometric registration of members across the state. In his opening remarks at the meeting, the deputy governor urged members of the caucus to work together as a team. Shuaibu further advised that they should cooperate in order to ensure a hitch-free pre-registration exercise, stressing that all members are stakeholders in the Edo project. Among the high-ranking members at the meeting were Chief Mike Ogiadome, Yisa Braimo, and Honorable Johnson Agbolagba. Other members present were key leaders across the 6 local governments in the zone. Other resolution reached at the caucus meeting were the immediate commencement of electronic registration of members in Edo North with a target of not less than 500,000 members. Chief Ogiadome and Braimo were charged with the responsibility of leading the tactical team to supervise the registration at the senatorial level, while at the local government level, the exercise will be supervised by the council chairman, PDP and APC party chairman, a leader of the party centrally recognized, a youth and a woman generally acceptable in the local government. It was further resolved that effective from January 1st, 2021, the PDP-APC dichotomy ceases to exist as members shall belong to one indivisible party, the PDP. The Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress APC on Wednesday appointed Chief George Odige Oyego as chairman of its South-South Reconciliation Committee. This was disclosed in a communique signed by the secretary of the committee and an APC chieftain from South-South, Lucky Maswe, shortly after a meeting of the party leaders from the geopolitical zone in Abuja. The communique also named other members of the committee as Lucky Maswe, Chief Sonny Jackson, Dr. Miriam Ali, Dr. Sam Jaja, Senator Clever Ikisipo, and Chief Emmanuel Nsan. Coming up in a moment, appeal court nullifies Olisametu's conviction, orders fresh trial. Details in a moment.
At split seconds, there is a lot happening around us, but we can't be everywhere all the time. We've got work, families, and chores to cater to, and most importantly, time to rest. And that's why having a reliable partner like KUFM News is important. Sleeping? We don't. We work round the clock, bringing you stories as they break from Nigeria and across the world. We will stop at nothing to keep you informed, because KUFM News is all about you and stories that affect you. Politics, business, human interests, sports, entertainment, just name it. We've got you covered. KUFM News. Timely, precise, spot on.
Welcome back. It's still News Dawn, and now to the rest of the news. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has nullified the conviction and 7 years jail term imposed on a former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Olisametu, by Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court in Abuja. A 3-man panel of the courts led by Justice Stephen Ada in a unanimous judgment held that the proceedings of the Federal High Court leading to the conviction of Metwe and its company, Destra Investment Limited, were tainted with bias and therefore must not be allowed to stand. Justice Ada, who delivered the lead judgment on Wednesday, held that the utterances of Justice Abang in the course of the trial established that he was biased against the convicts. The appellate court therefore ordered that trial be conducted afresh. He directed that the case file be sent back to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment to another judge other than Justice Abang. Justice Abang had in his judgment delivered on February 25th sentenced Metsue to 7 years imprisonment for fraudulently receiving 400 million naira from the office of the then National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki. More judiciary matters. In the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a suit that sought to void the emergence of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in the last governorship election in Ondo State. The plaintiff, Nathaniel Adejulo Telogon, an APC governorship aspirant who participated in the primary but lost, had challenged the party's adoption of the indirect mode of primary for the selection of its candidate for the election. In a judgment on Wednesday, Justice Okon Abang upheld the arguments by the APC and Akeredolu, who were listed as the first and second defendant, that the suit was statute-barred, having been filed outside the 14 days allowed under Section 285, subsection 9 of the Constitution for the institution of pre-election cases. Justice Abang noted that while the cause of action arose on July 17, 2020, when the APC's election committee, headed by Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State, announced the adoption of indirect primary, Adejulo Telogon chose to file his suit on August 3, 2020. Coming up in a moment on our business news, federal government is to disburse $2.5 billion to Ajaokuta, Kaduna, and Kano gas pipeline contractors. Charles Operum has more on our business news this morning.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business, the gains and the losses, the bulls and bears, the rise and falls, the risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's business news, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the morning market, forecasts, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, on Wednesday said the federal government is set to disburse $2.5 billion to the contractors of the Ajaokuta, Kaduna and Kano gas pipeline. She made the announcement to reporters during inspection of the project construction site in Ajaokuta, Kogi State. The federal government is implementing the project with joint funding with China. The pipeline project, flagged off in July this year, is 85% funded by the Bank of China, a Chinese export and credit insurance corporation, while the federal government, represented by NNPC, provides 15% equity. Meanwhile, she noted that the federal government of Nigeria has concluded its sovereign guarantee to the lender of the loan, which is the Bank of China. Ahmed said the project is scheduled for completion in 2023. And finally on business, Nigerian stocks witnessed another positive at the midweek trading session. Nigerian Stock Exchange capitalization value appreciated by 140.4 billion naira. The all-share index rallied up by 0.76% to close at 35,493.15 points. Similarly, the overall market capitalization size gained 140.4 billion naira to close at 18.55 trillion naira. Today's market upturn was impacted by gains recorded in large and medium capitalized stocks, amongst which include Nestle, Flour Mill, Guinness, Guarantee, and Zenith Bank. Also, the total volume traded increased to 650.54 million shares worth 2.28 billion naira, traded in 3,952 deals. Transactions in the shares of Jaiz Bank topped the activity chart with 414.9 million shares valued at 216 million naira. The equities market breadth closed positive as 29 stocks posted gains while 13 stocks posted declines. Nestle led the gainers chart for the day, while Owando was at the top of the losers chart. And that's it on business. Around to sports, where Roberto Firmino's late winner lifts Liverpool above Spurs. More to come in our sports news bulletin. Roberto Firmino's last-minute header broke Tottenham's resistance at Anfield and sent Liverpool to the top of the Premier League table. An entertaining encounter looked set to end in stalemate before, with the game entering stoppage time, Firmino soared to flash a header high past Spurs keeper Hugo Lloris from Andrew Robertson's corner. Liverpool flew at Spurs in the opening exchanges and went ahead when Mohamed Salah's shot took a big deflection off Eric Dyer and looped over Lloris. Spurs had barely left their own half, but struck with a counter punch 7 minutes later when Son Heung-min raced clear to slip a composed finish past Alisson. Spurs actually had the better chances in the second half, with Steven Bergwijn firing wide, then hitting a post when clean through, and Harry Kane heading over from point-blank range. Tottenham's manager Jose Mourinho was left to regret those missed opportunities as a late Liverpool surge ended with Firmino's winner to send the defending champions 3 points clear at the top of the table and inflict Spurs' first Premier League loss since the opening weekend home defeat against Everton. And that's it on sports. I'm Charles Oporu. Back to you, Gotslov, Orlando.
And that's the news, but before we go, let's quickly take a recap of the headlines. On the news this morning, we told you that President Buhari has ordered immediate opening of foreign land borders. And here in Edo State, some workers of Edo City Transport Service have continued their protest. And finally, on Newsdawn this morning, Edo PDP commences biometric registration of members. Please do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget, you can listen to us anywhere in the world, either by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our KU mobile app from the Google Play Store. Remember, we're also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can listen to us on radiogarden.com. KUFM's News Dawn was produced by Blessing Asekome. I am Godslove Orlando saying thanks for listening.